has asked a great deal of all of us. Each person here carries their own worries, questions, and hopes, often quietly, while trying to keep up with the pace of school and life. For many, that meant daily anxiety, adjusting to Bellarmine's demanding environment as a freshman, navigating new relationships as a sophomore, facing the academic pressure of junior year, or waiting to hear back from colleges as a senior. As a community, we have also lost and vulnerability, reminders of how fragile and deeply connected we are. If this semester was difficult for you in any way, know this. See, you are heard and you matter. And even in these times, turn up at 16 flood relief in Punjab, the Dia de los Muertos, even in moments of care and another illness and recovery. Care that I experienced personally earlier this semester after a Viking. These moments, hope isn't distant. It is something practiced together. This semester comes toward the end. I invite each of us, whatever our faith tradition, spiritual practice, or worldview, pause and reflect. Take a moment to turn in toward whatever you find sacred, grounding, important for life. Today, offer two words. Thank you. Thank you for the strength move through this semester. Resilience shown on days that felt heavy and overwhelming. Thank you for continuing to show up for yourselves and for one another. At this time, take a moment and reflect. What are you most grateful for this semester? Across traditions and beliefs, we recognize the power of gratitude, reflection, and hope. There's a saying I love. You survive 100% of your worst days. Whatever you face this semester, you are still here, and that perseverance is something to honor.
Hargovan, do you really want to be on your phone right now?
As we prepare to step into rest, break, and whatever comes next, may we carry forward the lessons we've learned, the joy we've shared, and the reminder that community strengthens us all. However we name it, faith, hope, or love, may that voice continue to guide us, and may we face whatever storms come our way together. We will end with our Advent and T-Font. Be with us,
Emmanuel.
Repeat with me.
Be with us, Emmanuel.
So thank you for this semester. Good luck on any finals or projects. Have an incredible day, and go Bowers!
Go Bowers! Alrighty, gentlemen, for the final time for period 3 rhetoric, in the fall 2025 semester, the House will come to order. Congratulations. Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of the semester. Just a couple of important things before we get started. Number one, gentlemen, obviously today is our final round. We'll get that started in just a second after I introduce our judges and after a brief word. Second, gentlemen, your last day to turn in any late work or missing work is tomorrow at 11:59. Tomorrow at 11:59, please make sure you submit any late work by that time. And last but not least, gentlemen, November, December coaching sessions are due tomorrow at 11:59. Make sure that you log in those respective coaching sessions and whatnot. Okay. Any questions about that, gentlemen? Any questions? Yes, Lucas.
Coaching doesn't matter what week. Like, as long as I have 4 debate and 1 interview, is that fine?
If it is not the same, if it's like multiple ones on the same week, you're trying to jam everything in, I might take off a couple points for not being prepared. Last but not least, gentlemen, I know we have some folks sick today, and I know seating's changed, so I'm going to take attendance real fast. Jordan, I see you. Ibrahim is sick. Austin is here. Adam is here. Lucas is here. Charlie is here. Nicholas is here. Kyle is here. Cheng Yue, there you are. Josh D is here. Matt, hey. Henry Horvath is here. Sammy is here. Josh J is here. Noah Kim is here. Patrick, I saw, there you are. Nicholas Marufo is here. Elliot is out. Huddy is out. Hargobind is here. Ajay is here. Dave and Jay are here. Danny is here. Liam Wallace is here. Leo Shu is here. Gentlemen, if you did not make it, Charlie, what's up? Charlie, what's up? Gentlemen, really quickly, if you did not make it, I want you to take out a piece of paper. I want you to take out your notebook. I want you to take notes. At the end, I will pass around a sheet. I would like you to rank your top 3. Yes. I want you to rank your top 3. Gentlemen, please grab your things out. The live stream is on. Yep. What?
I felt 3 years behind bars.
Gentlemen, before we get started, I just have a couple of words I would like to say on behalf of myself and the rest of the other speech and debate coaches. Gentlemen, you have made it to the end of a very, very long semester. And I just have a couple things I'd like to say. First of all, this is really the first time in which Rhetoric Regular has really and largely been focused on really developing a speech and interp, as well as really developing, Congress, right? Back when other teachers have taught it, this was sort of a class that felt like a one down from Rhetoric Honors. It sort of felt not as rigorous, not as difficult, right? But I hope, gentlemen, that, in this class, you have learned a whole bunch of things, right? First, I just want to say, I think you should all be incredibly, incredibly proud of yourselves. And the reason I say that, gentlemen, is because in this class, you have been pushed outside of your comfort zone, right? One of my jobs as a teacher is to make you feel uncomfortable. Why? Because that is only that's the only way you can grow, right? If you are complacent and in sort of a safe space all the time, you are not going to challenge yourself. You're not going to grow. And as a result, one of my jobs is to push you outside of your bounds, to really challenge yourself to do things that you might not have done. And gentlemen, that you did, right? For many of you before, you have never done an intern, right? For many of you, you have never gone up before an audience and spoken before. But all of you took that brave jump into the deep end. You did not waver. You did not hesitate. You dove right in. So gentlemen, you should all be incredibly, incredibly proud of yourself for the work and the improvement that you have made this semester. Great work, gentlemen. Great work. Now, gentlemen, let me be honest, right? One of the whole points Rhetoric is offered is because, right, we want you to join speech and debate, right? This is one of our speech and debate feeders courses, right? Now, here's the thing. I know that for many of you, there are many different things pulling you in many different directions. Cross country, right? Some of you are swimmers. Some of you are volleyball players. Or some of you might be a part of ASB, or might want to do other things, right? Football, cross country, so on and so forth. All of that is okay, right? If speech and debate is not your home for the next 4 years, that is okay with you. I understand. right? But gentlemen, what I never want you to forget, what I never want you to just toss away, are the skills that you've learned in this class. How to publicly speak, how to share stories, how to speak to an audience, right? How to convince, right? And persuade an audience. How to focus on argumentation. Because gentlemen, all of those things are skills that you will need, not just in your 4 years development, but beyond in your life. And gentlemen, right now, my God, are we in need of more critical thinking skills, especially in this country, right? Gentlemen, one of the most important things that you will see in every single classroom is this board right over here. This board speak up and stand up against injustices that you see in the world. Just this past week, gentlemen, I sort of sent out an announcement about this, right? But we saw a very anti-Semitic attack occur in Bondi Beach in Australia, in Sydney, right? 15 members of a Jewish community were killed while they were trying to celebrate one of our highest holidays, Hanukkah, right? In the United States, you see the villainization of immigrants. In the United States, you see still villainization of other ethnic groups. And even though this class is in ethnic studies, even though I will have some of you in ethnic studies, right? It is our job. It is our duty. It is our obligation to use our voices to stand up and be men and women for and with others. Because that, gentlemen, is how we can fight back against the injustices in the world that we see today. That is our duty. That is our obligation. And so, gentlemen, you may forget in 3 years' time how to do an intro. You may forget about blocking or character voices. That is all totally fine. But what I never want you to forget, never, are the skills that you learn in this class. The skills of how to use your voice, how to persuade, how to use critical thinking skills to make this world a better place. Last but not least, gentlemen, I just want to take a second and just acknowledge that, I haven't been the best teacher this semester.
Definitely not true.
If I may, after Mr. Langerman's departure, we were very lucky to have Mr. Alexis step in to help coach policy. But unfortunately, gentlemen, that also meant that I had to take on a 6-5. So as a result, I have 170-ish students, give or take, to grade and to get comments back on. And unfortunately, that meant that I was really behind on my grading, right? I hope that this time in the classroom has made up for that. But, I just want to take a second to sincerely apologize. I just haven't been my best this semester. And I'm sorry that you had to experience that and that the brunt fell on you. But gentlemen, just know, right, that, I'm very sorry for the way the semester has gone, right? And I hope that, in years later, after we get another head coach, this program and this class will be a little better. Okay, so we'll take a survey at the end of class, right? You can write ways in which I can and how the class can improve. But for the time being, I hope you sit well and sit knowing with the fact that you have a voice and that you, gentlemen, are just as powerful as any person in this world. So please use it. And with that, gentlemen, we will start our Congress round with our introduction of judges. One of our first judges, a sophomore, Michael Katambe. One clap. Next. Next. We have sophomore Ashwin Gorpati.
One clap.
Next, sophomore Krishna Singh. And last but not least, sophomore R.M. Modoc. Your parliamentarian today is a national finalist in policy debate, placing second from Gunn Senior High School, and is now our current policy coach. And we give a round of applause to Mr. Evan Alexis. No.
Oh, you get that. Now you're good. Okay, I'm confused. You said I was Geo. You just said I'm Geo.
Oh, no, you're the parliamentarian.
Oh, parliamentarian. Yeah, got it. No,
So you just have to rank.
I got it.
You just have to rank
Yeah,
everyone.
I got it.
Yep.
On
On the stone. Alrighty, gentlemen.
It's the final.
I now call the House to order, the Senate to order at 10:42 a.m. Gentlemen, our first order of business is to set a docket. Are there any docket nominations on the floor? Senator Bowles.
I urge a motion to set the docket for the bill to ban the bail system.
Senator Bowles nominates docket A, consisting of a bill to eliminate the bail system. Is there a second? There appears to be. Are there any further docket nominations on the floor? Seeing none, the chair asks unanimous consent that the previous question be waived and that docket A, consisting of a bill to eliminate the bail system, be adopted without objection. Is there objection? Seeing none, the motion is carried. We are now beginning debate on a bill to eliminate the bail system. Seeing that this is the first time the bill has been read, we are now in line for a first affirmative speech. All affirmative speakers, please rise. Between Jay Thacker, Chu, and Jati Prakasam, it will go to Representative Chu.
Where should I put my factory?
Right up there on the stove, please. And judges, if you could just give them a big thumbs up to indicate readiness.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Representative Chu. I am speaking for the first time this legislative session. I will begin an invocation of silence, and I will begin on my first words. Brian Stevenson writes in Just Mercy, the opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice. Yet, here we are. In America, a poor person waits behind bars. A wealthy person walks free. Justice for sale. Freedom for rent. This is cash bail, and it is broken. Cash bail punishes poverty, not guilt. People stay in jail simply because they cannot pay. Meanwhile, wealthier defendants go home, no matter the risk. According to the Barrett Institute, it shows pretrial incarceration rates are strongly linked to income. And research shows that people who are held in jail personally and legally lead to worse outcomes than people who are able to pay. In addition, the pretrial population has increased 433% from 1970 to 2015, largely because of this bail system. Freedom should never depend on money. Justice should never depend on wealth. Jail before trial destroys lives before guilt is proven. Jobs vanish, homes vanish, families vanish. Mental health crumbles, futures disappear. According to the Brennan Center, pretrial detention increases conviction rates and long-term harm because even a brief period in jail increases the risk that a person will lose employment and housing. Time in jail also increases the likelihood of future arrest. This pattern can be due to the economic effects of incarceration, such as wage losses, or to disruptions to interpersonal relationships and community ties. Punishing poverty before guilt harms everyone. Eliminating cash bail does not mean releasing everyone without oversight. Low-risk defendants can be released with court reminders or supervision. High-risk individuals can be monitored with ankle monitors, which are far less harmful than jail. Jurisdictions implementing pretrial risk assessments and electronic monitoring have no significant increase in crime or failures to appear. according to the Brennan Center and Barrett Institute. In Missouri, St. Louis, nearly 87% of defendants wear monitors completed their pre-trial period without a new arrest, according to the court's annual report, a result that mirrors outcomes for those released without monitors. According to the Missouri Independent, in California, San Francisco, officials say that it's useful to help reduce jail populations and allow individuals to remain in the community while awaiting trial, according to the California Policy Lab. In Illinois, early implementation after cash bail abolition in Cook County did not produce a major spike in ankle monitors immediately, suggesting courts can release defendants without over-relying on electronic monitors. Ankle monitors protect safety. Jail destroys lives. We do not need to choose between safety and justice. We can have both. In fact, jails cost over $100 per person a day, but monitoring and supervision costs a fraction. Reform saves millions and helps taxpayers in our country. Brian Stevenson answers in just mercy. The opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice.
Thank you, Representative Chu, for that speech of 3 minutes and 10 seconds. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Given that that was the first affirmative speech, we are now in line for 4 blocks of questioning. All questioners, please rise. All questioners, please rise. All questioners. That will Catabel and Kim. That will go to Representative Kim.
Hi, Representative. Thank you for your speech, but you claim that the bail system impacts poverty, correct? Or criminalizes poverty, correct?
Yes, it does.
Do the ankle monitors and buying new ones and keeping them on, do they not also cost money?
Well, it costs, as I said, it costs a fraction of what it costs to put a person in jail.
But due to court clock, wouldn't ankle monitors have to be kept on for a longer amount of time and therefore cost more?
No, it costs a fraction. Keeping a person in jail costs $100 per day.
Thank you, Representative Catabel.
You claim that pretrial would increase jail population, or you claim that it increased jail population between 1980 or so to 2015?
Yes, it does. 433.
Are you aware that President Trump signed an executive order to enforce federal custody and pretrial that actually declined jail population?
I'm not sure I see your point, because
My point is that through this executive order, there's a chance that we are able to decrease.
executive orders
Jail.
are not actual legislation. They can be revoked with the stroke of a
They
pen.
can, but the point is you signed an
Are there any further questioners? Representative Kim or Catabel, would you like to continue questioning? You can if you'd like. No? Any further questioners? Oh, Representative Catabel, go ahead.
So to continue, he signed the executive order that made it possible for there to be a chance that jail populations would decrease.
Yeah, where is that gotten us? Jail populations are still on the rise.
We signed this in August. It's not going to happen immediately, but in the long term, it will decrease.
Do you have
jail
like a
population.
timeline on that?
No, I do not.
Then how is this relevant?
It's relevant because there is a potential for jail population decrease. As you stated, that jail population has increased over the years.
Representative Catabel, or Senator Catabel, would you like to continue? Any further questioners? Any further questioners? Seeing none, the chair absorbs the remainder of the time. Thank you, Representative Chu. You may resume your seat. Seeing that that was an affirmative speech, we are now in line for a first negative speech. All negative speakers, please rise. Negative speakers. Representative Thacker, Dave.
For the reference of my judges, my name is Representative Tucker, that is spelled T-H-A-K-K-A-R, and that is Representative Tucker. And I will be arguing on the negation side of the bill for the first time.
Judges, just make sure you click on the correct button.
Can you imagine, as being treated guilty before the trial even begins? Imagine every step you take, every moment outside your house, monitored and recorded. Not because you committed a crime, but because the law says so. That is the reality for people under mandatory ankle monitors, a system this bill would force on all qualifying defendants. Right now, our bail system allows judges to weigh risk, protect public safety, and preserve freedom for those who are innocent until proven guilty, which is a right for everybody. This bill replaces that careful judgment with 24-hour surveillance, technical errors, and a costly monitoring program that punishes and fails to improve safety. Today, I will show you why this resolution is not a reform nor a solution, it is a step backwards. So today, I stand in negation of this bill. Right now, the bail system lets defendants pay money to be released from jail while they wait for their trial. Judges decide how much bail is set based on things like how serious the crime is. The main purpose of the system is to allow people to keep living their normal lives while awaiting trial. This includes going to work, taking care of family, and staying involved in their community. But bail also encourages people to come back for their court dates. There's evidence that the system works for many people. According to the Brennan Center of Justice, most individuals who are released on bail do show up for their court hearing. Bail also helps low-risk people avoid being stuck in jail before they are even found guilty. What does this resolution really do? This bill eliminates bail entirely. Instead, all defendants who are qualified for bail are subject to take ACO monitoring. The Department of Justice will oversee the distribution and monitor compliance and train staff and law enforcement in order to implement this new bill. Some outcomes on the status quo are ankle monitors not being accurate. Studies from scriptures say that ankle monitors require daily charging, sometimes twice per day, to maintain compliance. The crime report from 2018 notes lawmakers even proposed a felony for anyone on GPS monitoring who intentionally failed to charge a bracelet. Technical issues are widespread. In May of 2017, the Wisconsin State Monitoring Center lost cell connections 56,852 times across 895 offenders, and an average of 64 times per offender. Satellite signal was enough to generate 32,766 alerts, only half of which were serious enough to be investigated. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections submitted 135 technical problem requests. Accuracy, economic cost, and social employment, with people who wear ankle monitors not being able to find jobs. So today, I stand in negation of this bill.
Thank you, Representative Tucker, for that speech of 3 minutes and 10 seconds. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Given that that was a first negative speech, all cross-examiners, please rise. Between those who are standing, we will have 4 blocks of cross-examination. We'll go to Representative Bowles first. Other folks, please remain standing.
So you claim that the bail system is currently fair for all people. How is this fair when the American Civil Liberties Union shares that over 60% of all people currently in jail are held because they cannot afford bail?
If they're not able to afford bail, well, do you know the severity of their crime?
Yeah, they're all held on bail, so they're all innocent until proven guilty, as you share.
Well, this bail is for people that can't afford it.
So we have innocent people in jail right now who cannot get out because they can't afford bail. How is this fair?
It's fair to people who can afford it and people who can't afford it.
So it's only people who
Would you rather people be
Thank you, Representative Tucker. Jay.
So you say that bail, ankle monitoring is costly, but according to the U.S. courts, ankle monitoring saves thousands of dollars for taxpayers. It is putting someone in jail is $100 to $600, and ankle monitoring is $5 to $40. What do you have to say about that? Well, I have a statement that says that ankle monitors cost $21 per day per person. Okay, but which is around $7,800 a year. But you also said that bail encourages people to come back to court dates.
Yeah.
But what about what's stopping them from just leaving? They have no tracking and
Thank you, Representative Jyoti Prakash.
You said that the judge decides how much bail is implemented based on how serious the crime is.
Yeah.
But it has been proven by the University of Chicago that Black and Latino defendants are more likely to face higher bail amounts.
Do you know the percentages on?
No, but they're still higher. They are more likely to face higher bail amounts, which is not fair. Do you agree?
Well, it's not a problem with the bail. It's not a problem with bail. It's a problem with the judges.
Okay, so unjust judges are allowed to use.
I'm saying that.
Representative Chu.
All right, Representative, you say that people come to court hearings by paying bail, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if two people commit a crime, the same crime, should money decide who goes home?
I'm not exactly saying that money should decide who goes home. I'm saying that ankle monitors are held for the people who don't get the bail treatment.
Okay, so should someone lose their job in housing should someone lose their job in housing before being convicted of a crime?
Will people also lose their jobs in housing for wearing ankle monitors?
Thank you. You may resume your seat, Representative Dave Becker. Given that out with a speech in the negation, we are now in line for a speech in the affirmative. All affirmative speakers, please rise. Between those standing, I see Jyoti Prakasam and Dr. J. This will go to Representative Jyoti Prakasam.
For the record to the judges, my name is Representative Joseph Prakasam, speaking for the first time in this legislative session. Now the thumbs up in your memory. The cash bail system negatively affects poverty, not crime. It lets the wealthy buy freedom while keeping low-income people jailed for charges they haven't even been convicted of. By tying liberty to money, bail undermines justice and should be abolished. Currently, every state uses the bail system, with Illinois, New Jersey, and New Mexico starting to get rid of it. This legislation will remove the bail system from all states. This will greatly improve society for three main reasons. One of that is those who deserve jail time will get their jail time. This will keep criminals in prison, which is just for the crime they committed. Also, with criminals in jail for their deserved sentence, streets and cities will become safer as a result. Secondly, this will also remove inequality and wealth-based justice. Low-income individuals stay jailed not because they're dangerous, but because they can't afford bail, while the rich can buy freedom. Freedom is a right, not something that only certain people can buy. This will make our systems just and fair to everyone, even those who have different amounts of wealth. Finally, bail undermines the principle of innocent until proven guilty. Many people are jailed pre-trial simply because they lack money, not because they pose a risk. Studies from the University of Chicago also show that bail decisions often reflect systematic racial bias. Black and Latino defendants are more likely to face higher bail amounts and longer pre-trial detention. Eliminating bail would help reduce racial inequalities in the criminal justice system. So tell me, is the cost of having rich mafia gang members and other dangerous, does that greatly outweigh the money the government receives? Also, criminals won't learn their lessons if they can just buy their way out. They have to see the reality of serving jail time, and this can desensitize them from committing a crime again. We can keep our streets safer. As a result, people may also be more comfortable using things like public transport or walking on the streets with more dangerous criminals in jail. Overall, judges, you can make our streets safer and the system more just and fair for everyone by approving this bill.
Thank you, Representative Jyoti Prakasam, for that speech of 2 minutes and 33 seconds. That's 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Given that that was a speech in the affirmative, we are now in line for 2 blocks of questioning. All questioners, please rise. Between Catabell and Tucker, Dave, that will go to Dave Tucker.
So you said that ankle monitors, so you're saying that ankle monitors are a better preparation for jail time than bail is, right?
Yes.
But ankle monitors cause severe problems with the users, including 12% of people who are on ankle monitors considering suicide, and the other 88% have a severe mental health problems, including bad sleep and other things. What do you say about that?
Okay, well, that is not good, of course, but some people are losing their jobs before even being proven
They also
guilty.
lose
How
their
is
jobs
that
with the
fair?
ankle monitors on.
Not nearly as much,
Yes,
and
yes.
you can't.
Thank you. That will go to Representative Catabell unopposed.
How are citizens safer through anti-bail? You claim in your speech that citizens are safer when there is no bail. How is this true?
Because dangerous criminals cannot use bail to get out of jail.
Yes, but are you aware that 63% of people released without bail have been seen to commit violent crime?
Oh yes, but they're still desensitized. You see how there's only 63?
How are they desensitized?
Because they experienced jail time and know how bad it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Joseph Cross. You are resumed your seat. Don't bring your placard. Given that that was a speech in the affirmative, we are now in line for a speech on the negative. All negative speakers, please rise. Just Representative Cannavale, unopposed.
Good morning. For the reference of my judges, I am Representative Cannavale, that is Catavelle, speaking for the first time in this legislative session. I will take a thumbs up when I'm ready to go.
In 2025, 2 days after DeCarlos Brown Jr. was released without bail on charges of assaulting a police officer, he fatally stabbed a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, Irina Zarytsaka. In 2023, Christopher Joseph Sharp, who had been charged with sexually abusing 3 women in Northwest Washington, D.C., was released without bail, only to assault 3 more women in broad daylight. All these cases do is show us, the people, why we need a more effective trial system that doesn't rely on suspects to take it upon themselves to behave. I mean, what is Zarytsaka's case displaying to the world, other than the fact that America does not know how to keep its streets safe from crime and violence? We are only hurting our own reputation of being a safe and welcoming country through passing this bill. On August 25th of this year, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order that would effectively eliminate cashless bail in Washington, D.C. The order would ensure that arrestees are held in federal custody and pre-trial detention whenever possible. This bill essentially provides a trial run for suspects before their actual trial, ensuring that these people do not remain in jail for an unnecessary amount of time, but rather only the time they deserve. When President Trump began promoting his 2024 presidential campaign, he stated he would crack down on the left-wing jurisdictions that refuse to prosecute dangerous criminals and set loose violent felons on cashless bail. Ironic? Maybe. But illogical? Yes. According to a study by the Yolo County District Attorney, among those not posted for bail, 78% would be rearrested following their release, of which 63% would be rearrested under felony charges, for a total of 200% more violent crime and 163% more total crime. I would like to also mention that this study was done in Woodland, California, a state that has eliminated cash bail. Furthermore, cashless bail policies would allow for dangerous individuals to be released at the snap of a finger, endangering residents, visitors such as Zarytsaka, and federal workers. I will end with this. America is tarnishing the reputation of its citizens and country as a whole through the implementation of cashless bail. People are being murdered, assaulted, and abused because criminals, just like Brown and Sharp, run amok through our streets. You would be risking your life and that of your family through implementing cashless bail. Vote against this bill and ensure the safety of our people. Vote for our people and ensure the safety of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Cannavale, for that speech of 3 minutes and 3 seconds. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. All cross-examiners, please rise. Between those standing, it will go to Representative Hsu first.
Okay. Hi, Representative. Great speech. You mentioned how lives are at risk, but how will the bail system fix it?
Bail fix it?
How does you mentioned how non-bail, like when people are released not from bail, they often commit another crime. But how will the bail system make it so?
Through no bail suspected criminals remain in federal custody, meaning they aren't released to the public.
Representative, or Senator Chu.
All right, Representative, you use the rhetoric snap of the fingers, but you do realize that executive orders can be rescinded by the snap of a finger, which is
Yes, I understand that, but this executive order was making it so that suspected criminals would be allowed to pre-trial, making the actual trial potentially go fast.
Let me ask you this. Does cash bail measure danger, or does it measure how much money someone has?
Measure it, neither.
It measures how much money someone has.
Okay.
Doesn't that show the inequality in debt which are?
Thank you, Representative Chu. That was a speech in the negative. Thank you, Representative or Senator Catabell. I will now like to ask affirmative speakers, please rise. Any affirmative speakers, please rise. That will go to Senator Bowles unopposed.
Hello, my name is Austin Bowles, or Representative Bowles, BOWLES, speaking for the first time in legislative session. I'll begin with self-government. Khalif Browder was a 16-year-old boy arrested for allegedly stealing a backpack. His bail was set to $30,000. And because his family couldn't afford that amount, Khalif didn't get to go home. He went to prison. And he spent 3 years incarcerated without ever being convicted of a crime. Much of that time spent in solitary confinement. Eventually, prosecutors gave in, and they admitted that they had no case and dropped all charges. However, the damage had already been done. Khalif later died by suicide as a result of the trauma he endured in prison. Khalif is not an exception. He is one of thousands of Americans punished, not for guilt, but for poverty. And that is the system the negative side is supporting. Representative Catabell states and argues that ankle monitoring leads to people who haven't been convicted of crimes violating the safety of American citizens. This claim is entirely false. According to the Brennan Center for Justice, extensive studies show there is no statistically significant relationship between bail reform and crime rates. Ending cash bail does not harm public safety. It corrects an injustice. Further, a 2025 American Civil Liberties Union analysis found that a low-risk individuals held on short-term bail are 40% more likely to commit future crimes than those released. In other words, detention itself causes harm. Impactfully, keeping our faulty bail system destroys lives, families, and communities, while bail reform has no negative effects on crime. Representative Tucker also argues that defendants are more likely to commit crimes or skip court if bail is removed, and that ankle monitoring does not prevent this. Again, the facts disprove this. The Prison Policy Institute found that people released pre-trial instead of held on bail have no negative impact on public safety. Even stronger, the Judicial Branch of California reported that non-monetary pretrial programs reduced rearrests by 5.8% for misdemeanors and 2.4% for felonies, while also decreasing failures to appear in court by 6.8%. Representative Tucker also argues that the bail system is not fair, or is fair. However, let me be the first to tell you that this is not the case. This statement could not be further from the truth. According to the Bail Project, prosecutors routinely use bail as leverage to pressure low-income families into pleading guilty, not because they are guilty, but because they cannot afford bail. They cannot afford freedom. And the Center for American Progress reports that Black Americans face bail amounts 35% higher and Latino Americans 90% higher than white defendants for similar charges. With this being said, bail does not treat us as equal under the law. It assigns human value to freedom based on net worth, removing our rights to a fair, quick, and just trial. So, the judges, let's vote correctly, because our vote determines what justice looks like for innocent people like Khalif Browder. The institutions defending cash bail are the same ones that profit from poverty. Bail bond companies, private prisons, and private and insurance corporations. So vote affirmative.
Thank you, Representative Bowles, for that speech of 3 minutes and 8 seconds. 3 minutes and 8 seconds. All questioners, please rise. That will go to Representative Tucker Dave unopposed.
So you said that Latino and Black Americans are more likely to have higher bail increasements than white?
Yeah, so basically judges will routinely and on average give higher bails for minorities.
But you said it's the judge's fault, not the bail system.
Yeah, but if we get rid of bail, then we won't have this problem.
But bail is completely fair right now. It's the judge's
How
fault.
is it fair? I just said that it's,
But it's not the bail system's fault again. It's the judge's fault who's making that racist.
okay, but it still oppresses, even if that's not true, it still oppresses low income families.
Thank you. Any further questioners? Representative Tucker, would you, Representative Catawba.
You stated that corporations benefit from this
No,
poverty?
what I'm saying is that the only people who are for this bill are corporations that profit off of poverty.
Yes, so you're saying that corporations are benefiting.
So insurance corporation is private by Obama.
Yes, okay, thank you. So how and which corporations benefit from poverty?
Bail bond companies, because they need
How are
more
they-
people who cannot afford bail in full to go to them so that they can get out of bail or get apply for bail.
But why would someone go and apply for bail in the first place if they can't afford it?
Because they need freedom. They need freedom.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Bowles. You may resume your seat. Given that that was a speech in the affirmative, we are now in line for a speech on the negative. Any negative speakers, please rise. That will go to Representative Kim, unopposed.
For the record, to the judges, my name is Representative Kim, spelled K-I-S. Judges, give me a thumbs up.
Audience members in the gallery, please make sure that you are not distracted. Remember, you will be voting on this, and you should be taking notes.
Everyone, I would like to tell you the story of Matthew Brown, a 34-year-old from Arizona. He was placed on ankle monitor pending trial, and due to court delays, it has now been 3 years. This has led to him to be socially disconnected. After all, who would want to go near a man with an ankle monitor? And it has now led him to be disconnected from his family, judged, and trapped in the false sense of security that the app claims the ankle monitor will give. And pricing of the ankle monitor continues to pressure him. With over $10 a day, this can add up to over $10,000 a year. And across his 3 years, he fears the eventual cost that ankle monitors will soon bring. Representative Chui claims that ankle monitors cost less than jail, but I would like to point out whose pocket this money comes out of. We impact the poor and impoverished of our country, just like the app says, and continuously they claim it's bad. And obviously ankle monitors worsen this problem. They can cost from $3 to $35 a day, compounding to hundreds of dollars a month. And Representative Thacker states that it saves money for taxpayers. But do we focus on the taxpayers' money? No, we must focus on the poor and impoverished. The criminal who is innocent until proven guilty must suffer through ankle monitors while having to pay the compounded price of thousands of dollars. We must protect our individual rights. Electronic monitoring pushes people to plead guilty due to the cost. And according to The Guardian, ankle monitors allow for the already impoverished and socially marginalized to end up back in prison. The moment the monitor dies, the user goes back in prison. Senator Bowles claims ankle monitors are non-monetary, but this is definitely untrue. The individual who is under ankle monitoring must pay thousands of dollars. And that is why, to protect the impoverished that the act claims, we must vote next. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Kim, for that speech of 2 minutes exactly. 2 minutes exactly. All questioners, please rise. Between those standing, I see Bowles, I see Chu, I see Xu, and I see Jyoti Prakasam. That will go to Representative Bowles.
So how are the people who are currently on monitoring disconnected from their families? Because the people who are on bail actually cannot be with their families.
I would like to point out that in the case of Mr. Matthew Brown, his family who may live far away intentionally can't
But
avoid.
this is a general statement. Everybody who cannot actually afford bail is separated from their families, whereas ankle monitoring people are with their families.
But ankle monitor, not necessarily. Just because
The American Civil Liberties Union shares that over 60% of people in our prisons currently are incarcerated because they cannot afford bail. So we have 60% of people incarcerated.
Representative Jyoti Prakasam.
So, in the beginning, you said how someone is wearing an ankle monitor for 3 years now, but as Dave's been saying this whole time, it seems like the court's fault, not the bill's fault, because it's court delays, right? How is that the bill's fault?
the court delays But ankle monitoring worsens the issue. It forces them to wear an ankle monitor for 3 years, causing them to be socially disconnected. After all, if you saw a man with an ankle monitor walking down the street, would you go towards him?
No, okay. Also, if you're paying for $10 a day, how does that add up to 10,000 a year?
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Tim. You may resume your seat. Given that that was a negative speech, we are now in line for an affirmative speech. All affirmative speakers will rise. Between those two, it will go to Representative J. Tucker unopposed.
For representatives, my name is Representative Jay Thacker because there's two of us. So THAKKAR, speaking for the first time in affirmation in legislation. I will take an indication of a thumbs up when I'm ready to start. Ready? Azaria Carvin, a 24-year-old uni student who spent a semester abroad in Morocco, was falsely accused of stealing an Xbox and $150, and has spent 2 months in prison because of this, because he could not cough up enough bail money. 8-month pregnant Jessica Preston was also falsely convicted in Macomb County because she was forced to spend 14 days incarcerated because she could not pay bail. Today, we are faced with a critical question about the integrity of our justice system. Should we continue to depend on bail or enforce ankle monitoring, an alternative that guarantees justice without bias towards financial status? This bill gets us to see which method is more effective in keeping criminals off the street and ensures court appearances. This method must also be in line with our values, being treated equally, and the protection of our rights and our justice system that serves all people, not just those who can afford it. Representative Thacker says that ankle monitors cost more than bail, but this is completely incorrect because according to U.S. courts, ankle monitors save taxpayers thousands of dollars. Not only that, but do they cost a fraction of the cost of sending someone to jail. Sending someone to jail costs $100 to $600. Rather, ankle monitors cost $40 to $50, $4 to $50 every single day, which is a fraction of the price of sending someone to jail. Representative Thacker also says that bail allows people to go to work and spend time with their family. But what he forgets to mention is that people who cannot afford bail must stay incarcerated until their court trial. Now, Representative Bowles tells us that bail system is completely unfair and enforces inequality and injustice. And this is completely accurate. According to bail fail, the authors assert that the use of money as a primary mechanism for bail distorts the criminal justice system, with over 60% of the U.S. jail population being composed of individuals being held in detention because they are unable to raise funds necessary for obtaining bail. Now, according to, not only is it unfair and unequal, but according to the smart justice, cash bail allows people with financial means to purchase their freedom, while people who are in impoverished states must stay incarcerated. Also, according to the criminal law, the ACLU has alleged that cash bail is actually unconstitutional because it violates the due process and equal protections under the 14th Amendment. The prohibition against excessive bail found in the 8th Amendment, and the right to a free trial guaranteed by the 6th Amendment. Lastly, according to GPS monitors are not only used to protect Americans all around the country from unjust incarceration, but we are also upholding the rights that we are promised as citizens. By passing this bill, we are eliminating cash bail. This directly affects our constitutional rights by enforcing them more strictly, and your fellow Americans pass the bill and eliminate cash bail. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Tucker J, for that speech of 3 minutes and 6 seconds. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. All questioners, please rise. Questioners, please rise. That will go to Representative Dave Tucker, unopposed.
So you said people are incarcerated, but so are people that are on ankle monitors, right? No, because when you're let on an ankle monitor, you're allowed to leave jail, but you're just being trapped. But you're allowed to do any daily area. You're also trapped in a certain area. Many people with ankle monitors are trapped in their homes or are only allowed to. But what would you rather? Would you rather be incarcerated in jail or in a specific certain circumference? But if you also lose your job, friends, and they're constantly humiliated out in the public. But when you're incarcerated, you're also being separated from everyone that you love. But when you're incarcerated, people are allowed to visit you.
Any further questioners? Representative Tucker, would you like to continue your line of questioning? No? Any further questioners? Seeing none, the chair absorbs the remainder of the time. Thank you, Representative J. Tucker, for your speech. Given that that gentleman was a speech in the affirmative, we are now in line for a speech on the negative. All negative speakers, please rise. All negative speakers, please rise. The chair highly frowns on a one-sided debate, but we will now call on any affirmative speakers. Any affirmative speakers, please rise. Representative Shu, unopposed.
Representative Shu, 2 letters, XU, very simple. In November 15th, 42-year-old Keith Wood had to pay a $150,000 fine for paying his bail. His crime? Passing out flyers. After spending a couple hours in jail, he was fortunate enough to afford his bail, to see his child again at home. But $150,000, that is just unreasonable. The current vicious bail system punishes innocent people at ridiculously high prices, but as Representative Chui so eloquently states, the poor are affected the most. Homelessness, mental health damage, unemployment. Representative Bowles already tells you about Khalif's tragic story and that he is one of thousands affected by the bail system. Now, Representative Cadabel brings up 3 examples of people committing crimes when released without bail. But these are just 3 examples. When you're released without bail, it does not affect anything. The Public Policy Institute of California notes that there is no evidence in an increase of rearrest for violent felonies for criminals who haven't paid bail. Representative Fox states that ankle monitors violate freedom and safety. But the whole point of this bill is to give freedom and safety to the poor people, whose liberty is robbed by the vicious bail system. Representative Thacker, Representative Kim, I'd like to ask you both a question. What's more mentally damaging, being able to walk free and go about your business with a little thing around your ankle, or sitting in jail for years? Ankle monitors are tools for Americans to ensure that Americans get the trial that they deserve. And they aren't going to leave anyone stuck in jail or leave someone drown in debt, unlike the cash bail system. The cash bail system, on the other hand, Representative Chui already made it clear at the start of the round that it only takes away the freedom of poor Americans who may be wrongly convicted. The fundamental principle of our conviction system is innocent until proven guilty. But currently, there are many who sit in jail, innocent, but sit in pretrial detention all day, while jails are overcrowded. The rich criminals who have the most potential for danger are set free, while our poor citizens who are still waiting to see smiles on the kids' faces are stuck in jail. Is this the real free country that America portrays itself to be? What are we supposed to tell the kids, waiting for their parents to come back from jail for a crime they did not commit? This is just unjust, unethical, and un-American. Pass this legislation.
Thank you, Representative Shu, for that speech of 2 minutes and 56 seconds. 2 minutes and 56 seconds. All questioners, please rise. That will go to Representative Dave Tucker, unopposed.
So you said that these extremely dangerous criminals are set free.
Yeah.
But these criminals, their punishment is decided on during court. So even if they had an ankle monitor go out, it's not 100% sure that they would get that ankle monitor relief instead of going straight to jail. So what I'm telling you is that these dangerous criminals' punishments are decided by the court. So they are not 100% to get this ankle monitor treatment. They're not allowed to go back.
The legislation makes it so they have
Representative Dave Tucker, would you like to continue your questioning? You're good. Any further questioners? Any further questioners? Seeing none. Oh, Representative Tucker, you may continue.
You also said that these people are going to see their children again. But
Yeah,
with
there's
ankle
many
monitors,
people waiting in jail right now because they can't afford the cash bail system and they're waiting in.
but people with ankle monitors, it's also extremely difficult for them to take care of their children.
They are limited to they can still walk free. It's not like they're in jail.
Well, it's hard for them to take care of these children with the ankle monitor on because it's hard for them to work now that they have the ankle monitor. A lot of people get out.
Thank you, Representative Shu. You may resume your seat. Given that all speakers have spoken, are there any motions on the floor? Any motions on the floor? Would you like to get a no? Any motions on the floor, gentlemen?
I motion to question.
Representative Catabell moves to the previous question. Is there a second?
I second.
There appears to be. All those in favor of moving to the previous question say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. By the opinion chair, the ayes have it. The question is now on passage of a bill to eliminate the bail system. All those in favor of passing this piece of legislation, raise your placards. I see 1, Tucker, J, 2, Bowles, 3, 2, 4, Shu, and 5, Joki Picasso. All those in favor of failing this piece of legislation, raise your placards. I see 1, Kim, 2, Catabell, 3, Dave, Tucker. On this vote, the yeas are 5, the nays are 3. This bill is passed. Oh yeah. Gentlemen, are there further motions on the floor? Senator Catabell. I move to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second.
There appears to be. All those in favor of adjourning say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. By the opinion chair, the ayes have it, and we stand adjourned. Gentlemen, two things. Gentlemen, two things. If you did not compete, I am coming around and passing out. I'm passing out a 1, 2, 3. Please rank your top 3 competitors. Gentlemen, in addition. Gentlemen, hang on. Gentlemen, in addition. Oh, wait. Gentlemen, on Canvas, there is a survey. Please fill out that survey. Please fill out that survey about the class. Gentlemen, there's a survey on Canvas. Oh, same thing. It doesn't matter.
Where's the survey?
Please write your name on the back, please.
Everybody's supposed to look survey, right?
Was that?
Everybody's supposed to look survey.
Yeah. Gentlemen, please fill out the survey. On Canvas. There should be an announcement. Gentlemen, on Canvas, there is an announcement. Yes, please put your name on the back.
I'll be surprised if I get top 5.
Please put your name on the back.
Everybody just puts strongly against everybody.
Gentlemen, there is a survey on Canvas. Please fill out that survey.
There's a lot of strongly agrees, right, guys?
Yes.
There's a lot of questions.
Please fill out that survey, gentlemen. Please fill out that survey. I will tally up the votes.
Oh my
Go
God.
from there.
Mr. Lou, that's a lot of questions.
Yeah, Mr. Lou.
Okay, they're too difficult and too hard. It's not hard.
Why are there so many
Wait,
questions?
Evan, you have to.
No, but like there's so many like writing questions. No, wait, there's one that you're not.
Yeah.
You have to read.
Same, I did that.
Like, so they're automatically set everyone out.
Right.
Except for the performance.
Dude, this is a long survey.
I think 17 questions.
Done like
Should have been
10
verbal.
minutes of data right there, man.
We can use our speech skills to like verbally answer these.
Oh, shoot, I strongly disagree with everything.
Yeah, it's all on of us.
Everything. I liked everything. especially Mr. Lou.
I like Mr. Lou more. I just want to make that clear.
I think I'm Mr. Lou.
I think I'm Mr. Lou's biggest fan. So, well, I'm literally his biggest fan.
I am. That says Mr. Lou's biggest fan.
My underwear.
I'm making a mug that says Mr. Lou's bigger fan.
What?
Bigger fan.
Yeah, you might be the biggest fan.
Love you, Mr. Lou.
I'm the biggest fan.
Mr. Lou.
I support Mr. Lou so much, I could hold up this. I can how much I support Mr. Lou.
Yeah, no
I told the everything
Empire
Mr. Lou
Tower.
Bro. Every
Empire Tower.
Empire Building. Empire State Building.
What up the brick wall,
I think I prefer Congress more than. Really?
Yeah, Jake.
No, because I love Congress. I was asking myself that.
Mr. Lou, why can't we give you 10 stars?
Actually,
I wish there was an 11 star. I wish there was an 11 star.
I was tired.
Bro, I spent more than 5 hours on homework.
If there was a fire development and I had to, anybody to do right now, it would be.
Yo, the one I did with Jay was so slow.
Anything else you want to tell Mr. Lou? Love you.
Mr. Lou.
Wait, you're in a congressional debate in a class? Oh, yeah, we have.
Remember what was that? Lucas, remember the Congress we did on Thursday? Like for the assignment?
Anybody here have exercise Thursday next semester?
Yeah. I do.
What is it like the rating it like how fun it was or how much I would take it again?
How much do you take it again?
Hey, Danny, how about you sit down now?
I second.
I'm third.
I make a bill that,
It's not hard.
Guys, I finished. Hey, I know I got something.
How do you spell success?
I've learned some. I didn't like the class. I loved it.
Gentlemen, any other ballots? Any other ballots outstanding?
Where from?
Gentlemen, really fast, really fast. Gentlemen, if I could please have your attention really quickly. I'd like to take a picture of everyone, so if we could please stand up over there. Please stand up over there.
Are we still live streaming? Mr. Lou, we should take a picture of the.
Oh, I think we're still live streaming. Oh,
We are.
yeah, still live.
Can I say hi to my mom?
So live.
Mom, my speech wasn't prepared.
Hi, Mom.
I think you're gonna lose points.
Gentlemen, if you could just take a second, just run up there.
I